So this is meant to be a bar graph that shows anywhere from $0 to $15. And this bar is all the way up a little past 15. So this would be an account. Let's say it's millions of dollars. So this account has a little over $15 million, which is pretty cool. But what I've realized is it's really helpful to realize that this isn't just all money in the account. There's actually two different types of money in here that's really helpful to think about. So the two different types of money are that some of the money makes up the cost basis and some makes up unrealized gains. So the cost basis of the account is the amount of money, in this case it looks like about $8 million, that has already had taxes paid on it. So no additional taxes are due on this money here. But there's unrealized gains on top of that. So that would be, this looks here to be about $8 more million, making about 16 total, that have unrealized gains. And so whenever these gains are realized, actually, let's not talk about that quite yet. So what happens is the cost basis will stay the same at 8 here. But as the market fluctuates up and down, the value of the account could go from 16 to 17 to 18. It might even go down to 15 or even down to 14 or something below 15. It can fluctuate up and down as the market changes. So the cost basis of the account will stay the same, but the total, which is looked at over here, changes as the market value goes up and down. So let's have this go all the way up to, let's say, about $20 million right there. So now you can see this account has a lot of unrealized gains. The ratio or the percentage of unrealized gains is now a lot higher than it was before. So come tax time, some of the stock in this account might be sold, in which case some of the gains would be realized. So let's say some stock is sold and the cost basis for it, let's say $5 million of stock, that's a really big number, is sold. So let's say they'd originally paid $2 million for that stock. So about $2 million here would have already come from the cost basis, but the additional $3 million was unrealized gains that is now being realized. So when taxes are paid on that $3 million of gains, of realized capital gains, this section that used to be unrealized, this $3 million worth, is now has taxes paid on it. So the cost basis is increased. Now that taxes have been paid, the cost basis is bumped up a bit. So the total value of the account doesn't change after taxes are paid. It's still the same value of total value of the account, but more of the account is in cost basis, and there's less unrealized gains now because some gains have been realized. So I kind of like thinking about it like that. Another point I wanted to make is, if we go back to this scenario for a minute, I wanted to pose the question, what would you rather? So would you rather have $1 million, or would you rather have a 20th of this account, which is $20 million? And I think the hopefully obvious answer is that it would be better to have $1 million in cash that you didn't owe taxes on, just $1 million in cash, than 1/20th of this $20 million account. Because if you had a 20th of this account, some of it would be unrealized gains, more than half of it. Look, like 2/3 of it almost would be unrealized gains. And whenever you did go ahead and sell that stock and realize some of those gains, you would have to pay taxes on it. So in other words, this $20 million account is not actually really, the true value isn't really 20 million because some of it is unrealized. Therefore, so would you rather have $1 million or a 20th of this account? I'd rather have 1 million. Well, what about this? Would I rather have, there's two ways we can look at it. I'm going to write this here. If $1 million cash is better than a 20th of this account, then there's two things we can think. How can we get this to be equal is my question. So one way is that we can make this less than $1 million and still make this 120 through the account. Or we could say that $1 million will buy actually a little more than 120 through the account. Maybe not as much as 1/19th, but more than 1/20th, which is 5%, right? So maybe $1 million will actually buy 5.5% or 6%, which at what point, the question becomes, at what point will these two things be equal? So that is where formula and equation would come in. Again, the question being, what percentage of the account would $1 million actually really buy then, if it should be a little bit more than 5%?